Hi friends, here we are discussing about the more kinetic theory of gases, that means beyond the kinetic theory of gases. Now we are going to discuss about the vapor pressure and humidity. The H2O water molecules in the liquid water strongly attract each other, holding the liquid together. But these molecules are still jiggling around with the Maxwell speed distribution. This means a fraction of them near the surface are moving fast enough to escape, forming a vapor above the surface. In a closed container with enough water present, an equilibrium situation is reached between escaping and returning molecules. Now we are talking about water and vapor in equilibrium. In equilibrium, in a closed container, the molecules in a vapor have the same average kinetic energy as the air molecules. So, exert pressure on the walls of container proportionate to the numbers. This is the saturated vapor pressure. It varies with the temperature like e की power minus a upon T, not surprising since its origin is molecule fast enough to escape. Now you can see here in a diagram air plus water vapor and air. Now the water vapor pressure at a room temperature, saturated vapor pressure is about 2.5% of atmospheric pressure. At 100 degrees Celsius, it's equal atmospheric pressure. This means small bubbles formed in the liquid by fast moving molecules coming together are no longer crushed by the surrounding atmospheric pressure. The water balls. In mountain resorts like Aspen, water balls at lower temperature producing interferer T. Now talking about relative humidity and dew point. Relative humidity and dew point. If water is constantly boiled off in a closed room, there is a limit to how much water vapor the air can hold. It becomes saturated. That limit depends on the temperature. Attempts to add more water result in condensation on the walls for formation, etc. At this point, relative humidity will be equal to the 100%. Relative humidity means the ratio vapor pressure to the saturated vapor pressure. What is dew point? Temperature at which dew forms. That is, water condenses out as the air cools. For given vapor pressure, dew point is found from tables. Pressure cooking. A pressure cooker gives pressure of about 1 atmospheric, that is inside the cooker pressure is about 2 into 10 power 5 Pascal. 1 Pascal 10 power 5 Pascal will be equal to 1 torr. The vapor pressure of water rises from 1 atmosphere to 2 atmosphere on heating from 1 degree Celsius to 120 degrees Celsius. This means that inside the cooker the boiling water is at 120 degrees Celsius. Cooking times are faster. Now we're talking about the van der Waals equation. The ideal gas law assumes molecules takes up no room and do not interact with the surrounding. Now van der Waals equation replaces V volume by V minus B, where B represented surrounding room taken up by molecules, surrounding molecules, and taking n is equal to 1 mole, and it replaces P with P minus E upon V square. The molecules mutual attraction lessen P at the walls. Below the critical point, part of the curve is unstable is replaced by the straight line separating gas and liquid. Now you know about when you combine it, now get the van der Waals equation. P minus E upon V square into V minus B is equal to RT. R is a gas constant. A and B are constant, respectively, a mutual interaction related, and second B is room molecules, surrounding molecules. Now these curves you can see in isotherm separated by delta T at 10 Kelvin, and this is a graph, and these curves are the best fit van der Waals for oxygen at its critical temperature 153 Kelvin and 143 and 163 Kelvin. Now, what is diffusion? Suppose we have two boxes, one containing a red gas, one air at a room temperature, separated by a partition which we gently remove, but quickly. Now, some time later, the gas can be observed to have diffused into each other to some extent, but the molecules are moving at about the 500 meters per second. Molecules are moving at about 500 meters per second. This is what's taking so long. This is the diffusion process. And what is the pinball scenario? Gases take a long time to mix because an oxygen molecule, say moving into nitrogen, will bounce around like a ball in a pinball machine, a zigzag path. Just how much room is there between these molecules? That is the pinball scenario. And what is the mean free path? The mean free path is defined as the average distance a molecule travels between collisions with the other molecules. Imagine the molecule straight line path. A collision occurs when another molecule's center is inside a cylinder of radius d centered on that path. In traveling a distance L, the molecules sweep out a volume pi into d square into L, where L is the distance, d is the diameter. Is this the distance between the two centers? L is the distance which is the travel. Now, free mean path continued. In the traveling a distance L, the molecule sweeps out a volume pi d square L. Remember, the average volume per nucleus in here is around 1000 dq. Therefore, the molecule will hit another one on average after traveling L, where pi d square L is equal to 1000 dq. Now, the bottom line, the mean free path L in air is around 300 d, where d is the molecular diameter. Important, we have found this without knowing what the molecular diameter is. A random walk. What is a random walk? To get some idea how far a molecule can progress with the pinball type zigzag path, we begin with the simplest example of one-dimensional random walk defined as follow. I have a fair coin. On average, it comes up heads exactly 50% of the time. I take a walk, tossing the coin to determine each step. One step forward for heads and one backward for tails. How far did I get most likely after 100 steps? A one-dimensional random walk distance. How far did I get most likely after 100 steps? Equally like forward or a backward, of course, but if you did this many times, what would be your most likely ending distance from the starting point? Let's do the math. The first step is displacement x1 equal to plus 1 for forward wise minus for backwards. The other steps are similarly variables x2, x3 and order to x10, all plus 1 and minus 1 with equal probability. Let's do the math. Now, we are trying to find how far away we get. We don't care which me, so let's find the average square distance. x1 plus x2 plus dot plus x10 whole of square will be equal to the x1 square plus x2 square plus dot x10 square plus 2x1 x2 plus dot lots of the such across the terms. Now on the right hand side, the square term all equal 1 and the cross terms are equally likely positive or negative, so average will be the 0. One dimensional random walk distance is average square distance. We getting it? Now on the right hand side, this will be the average velocity, average will be 0. Now what's the bottom line? If this random walk is repeated many times over, the average squared distance from beginning to end is equal to x1 plus x2 plus dot dot x10 all of square whole square of mean equal to 10. The root mean square distance is therefore root 10. Now the real diffusion is more complicated than our one-dimensional random walk, but not that much. The path is made up of a sequence of randomly oriented vectors. Let's say all of length L. The RMS distance R from start to finish is given by R is equal to square of whole of square of L1 mean of L1 square plus mean L1 square plus L2 L1 plus L2 plus L1 whole square, all of its root, now written as the root n into L. Just as a one-dimensional, the cross term Li dot Lj approaches to 0 over many paths. Finding the size of molecules where real gas diffused into each other. The molecules follow many different paths, so our averaging over path gives a good picture of how far they get. A distance root n into L in n steps of length L. We know from the pressure discussion that O2 oxygen molecules travel at about 500 meters per second in air in this room. This means that in a time t they will have moved Vt in a random steps at of a length L. That's n step. N is equal to Vt upon L. So the actual distance diffused in time t is R is equal to root n into t. That will be the equal root Vt upon L into L and equal to under root Vtl. Now, so the actual distance diffused in time t is R is equal to root Vtl. This can be measured experimentally. It's found that oxygen gas under room condition diffuse around 0.5 cm in 1 second. This gives a mean free path L about 550 nanometer and the molecule size 1/300 of that from our earlier work. Not very accurate but pretty good. This is the way the size of atoms Avogadro number were first found by the Loschmidt in 1816. Avogadro had no idea what his number was. Okay, now we getting as some equations. No, okay, thank you for listening this.